What is happening, guys? My name is Jamie, this is the Norwich Reptile Shed, and in this video we're going to be fitting a misting system and some other improvements in the Royal Python Vivarium. So before we get on to the misting system, let me quickly talk about the improvements we're going to make. And that is this little corner up here. As you can see, we've got Priscilla really enjoying being in there, but it sticks out like a sore thumb, doesn't it? So my idea that I'm going to try and do over the next few days is build a corner planter, maybe two, maybe one, and then have them here because they clearly like being on this side. This is actually the cool side technically, so I do have all my heating on this side, and then I've got my ventilation and everything on this side, and it actually sucks hot air out the top there. So yeah, so we're going to be replacing these with some rock planters that I'm going to be making shortly, and I will show you how I'm going to do them. But first of all, let's get the misting system sorted out. So this is the Exoterra Monsoon Multi 2. Now, it's not the greatest misting system out there. The end goal for the reptile room is to install a Mist King system out here, but for the meantime this will work. Now, it comes with two plastic nozzles and they're attached to a few meters of silicone tubing with a splitter. This is enough to work on the Royal Python Vivarium, and it's definitely enough to work with a few Exoterras or Vivariums or anything like that. The kit also comes with a power supply. You don't need to run this through a timer. All the timing, the cycles and the duration is all done on the actual pump itself, on that black top bit. And then you get quite a big reservoir. That's definitely enough for me to fill that up and leave it for a week, which is what I do with my other misting system. And then at the end of the week, just empty it out and refill it again and start again. So where I'm going to situate my tank and my pump is going to be just down here in this corner. That's much easier than having it on a shelf and worrying about the weight and all that kind of stuff, and it means I can fill it up pretty easily. The only thing I had to consider really, if the tubes were going to actually reach from the far end of the vivarium to here, and they do just about. If that was a problem, I could always order more air tubing. It is just 6mm airline tubing, so yeah, nothing particularly specialist. You can get it off of eBay, but yeah, it all fits. So let's go ahead and start fitting some nozzles. So what I've had to do, because the Exoterra nozzles that come with the kit are kind of pushed over there and aren't really designed to be taken off and put on again, I've just pulled them out of the fitting, and that means I can then have this inside the vivarium all fitted and then just poke this through the top and then do all my connections outside. The way I'm fixing the suction cups to the wooden vivarium, obviously it's not going to stick. And I'm not going to try and attempt to glue it or silicone it because I know from experience it does actually come unstuck. So what I'm actually doing, and this is what I do in my other wooden vivariums as well, is put a little screw through the actual suction cup. And if you want it to be like proper stable, not going to move anywhere, just do a screw on both sides and this thing is never going to move. So that is my trick. Okay, so here is my plan. This is quite a big plant pot. Definitely could house a good root ball for like a philodendron or epiphyllum, something like that. Nice big plant, and it fits in this corner quite nicely. It's gonna have a little bit of rock work around it. So yeah, this is kind of my size that I'm going for at the moment. And I'm going to make one for this video, and if I decide I like this, I will make another one. But yeah, it's pretty much the same size as that thing above us. So and I know that Priscilla, who is residing over there, she sits in there no problem. So this being a little bit bigger, with the frame around it, that's going to be the rock, she should be able to sit on this quite comfortably and not kill the plant. And we've got loads of space to put a nice big mature plant in there as well. So yeah, let's get to basically cutting polystyrene to fit this. So this is a real simple design. It's just going to use 3 pieces of polystyrene. If you've watched any of my background videos before, you'll know that I use 50mm thick polystyrene insulation board, and that's exactly what I'm using here. And it's just going to have 3 pieces that are all cut fairly similar, but with a slightly bigger hole leading up to the top. And that means I can stack all the 3 pieces together and have the plant pot actually sitting inside them quite snug, and the plant pot will support the polystyrene, and the polystyrene will also support the plant pot. So that all works together, and once I've finished cutting everything out, I will then stick it all together with the HA6 silicone, which I use all the time on all my builds, and yeah, leave that to dry before then hitting it with the grout stages. And the grout stages are going to be just a couple of wet coats of grout to get kind of just a coverage over the whole thing, and then after that we'll then go over with a thicker mix, and sort of put that on by hand and use the back of my hand to then create the texture that I do in all of my other rock work backgrounds and things like that. Okay, so the planter is done and it's ready to be fitted. I've hit it with a bit of black paint, and it all looks pretty cool. It kind of matches the old one, but that is like almost 3 years old now, so yeah, slightly different techniques and bits like that, but it's all ready to be screwed to the wall, and then I can drop the new plant in. And there you have it, guys, a nice simple but slightly involved planter for the Royal Vivarium, plus an automatic misting system. Yeah, all good. Don't forget, if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, the subscribe button if you haven't already and you want to support the channel. And if you want to support the channel even further, head over to Patreon, where for £3 a month, I can put your name at the start of each video, and all the money raised from that gets reinvested back into the channel. Thank you, guys. I'll catch you in the next video.